Dr. Ethan Mercer maneuvered through the eerie corridors of the derelict space station, his flashlight casting long shadows on the dusty control panels and abandoned equipment. The silence of the void enveloped him, punctuated only by the soft hiss of his oxygen supply and the occasional crackle of static from his communicator. "Ethan, what's your status?" asked Captain Jonas Hale, his voice echoing slightly through Ethan's helmet. "Still making my way to the central hub, Jonas. No signs of life so far, but there's plenty of tech that the science team will want to get their hands on," Ethan replied, his eyes scanning a panel of alien script. "You have 20 minutes before we need to start pulling out, Mercer. We don't want to be here when the station's orbit starts to decay," Jonas reminded him, a note of urgency in his tone. Ethan nodded to himself and quickened his pace, entering what appeared to be a laboratory. His light fell on a large, opaque capsule in the center of the room, contrasting starkly with the surrounding chaos. "I found something, Jonas. It looks like a stasis pod. I'm going to check it out." "Be careful, Ethan. We don't know what's in there," Jonas warned. Approaching the capsule, Ethan wiped away the layer of cosmic dust, revealing a window. Inside, illuminated by his light, was a child. Not just any child, but one with slight yet distinct non-human features. "Jonas, there's a child here. An alien child. Alive," Ethan stammered, his breath fogging up his visor. "What? Are you sure?" Jonas's voice was filled with disbelief. "Absolutely sure. It looks human, but it's definitely alien. I'm bringing it back," Ethan decided, his mind racing. With practiced hands, Ethan initiated the release sequence of the pod. The hatch hissed open, and the child, small and frail, stirred weakly. Wrapping it carefully in his extra thermal blanket, Ethan secured the child to his chest. "It's okay. I've got you," he whispered, not sure if the child could understand him, but feeling the need to reassure it. As he made his way back to the rendezvous point, Ethan's mind was a whirlwind of thoughts. Who was this child? How did it end up here? What would this discovery mean for humanity? "Everything all right, Mercer?" Jonas asked as Ethan emerged from the station's airlock into the docking bay of their ship. "Yeah, we're both fine," Ethan replied, adjusting the child in his arms. "But I think we're going to need a bigger debrief. This kid changes everything." Jonas met Ethan's gaze, his eyes reflecting a mix of awe and concern. "All right, let's get you two secured. We'll figure this out together." As the ship detached from the station and set a course back to Earth, Ethan looked down at the child, its chest rising and falling evenly against him. He knew that the road ahead would be challenging, but at that moment, he felt a profound connection to this mysterious new life. He wasn't just bringing back invaluable data, he was bringing hope to an unknown future. The journey back was quiet, with both men lost in their own thoughts, pondering the implications of their extraordinary encounter. Back on Earth, the arrival of Ethan Mercer and his alien discovery, now named Eric's, sparked a frenzy of activity and speculation among scientists and government officials. Ethan found himself quickly ushered into a secure research facility along with Eric's, where a team of top xenobiologists, linguists, and psychologists awaited. "Dr. Mercer, this is Dr. Simon Reyes, our lead xenobiologist, and Dr. Lisa Hammond, head of xenolinguistics," introduced Director Angela Parks, as Ethan and Eric's were led into a brightly lit laboratory. The room buzzed with anticipation and the hum of advanced equipment. Ethan nodded to each, his gaze returning to Eric's, who looked around with wide, curious eyes. "We've got a lot to figure out," Ethan said, gently setting Eric's down onto a soft observation mat. Cameras and sensors immediately began recording data. Dr. Reyes approached cautiously, a warm smile on his face. "Hello, Eric's. I'm Simon. We're here to help you." He spoke slowly, clearly, though unsure if Eric's understood him. Eric's tilted his head, watching the team's every move with cautious interest. Suddenly, he reached out a hand towards a monitor displaying various symbols. To everyone's surprise, the symbols rearranged themselves in response to his touch, forming coherent patterns. "Did you see that?" Dr. Hammond exclaimed, her eyes fixed on the screen. "It's communicating, maybe even thinking in visual patterns." Ethan watched, fascinated, as Eric's continued to manipulate the images effortlessly. "It seems like visual language might be his way of understanding the world," Ethan observed, turning to Dr. Hammond. "Yes, potentially. This changes our approach," she replied, already noting down observations. "We need to adapt our communication methods." As days passed, Eric's began to show more facets of his abilities, including a form of telepathy. During a session, Ethan felt a gentle presence in his mind, like a whisper made of light. It was Eric's, sharing fragmented memories of stars and distant worlds, and a profound sense of loss. "What are you trying to tell us, Erix?" Ethan whispered back, the connection between them strengthening. "The child's species must be highly advanced, possibly even beyond our current understanding of physics and biology," Dr. Reyes mused aloud after observing the interaction. "His presence here isn't a mere accident. He was sent for a reason." Ethan felt the weight of his responsibility growing. Erix wasn't just an alien. He was a bridge to an entirely unknown civilization, possibly one looking for their lost child. The implications were enormous, and not just for science. The military, represented by stern-faced Colonel Jenkins, had also taken a keen interest in Erix's abilities. "Ethan, we need to consider the security implications," Colonel Jenkins stated in a meeting, his tone urgent. "If word gets out about Erix's abilities, it won't just be us trying to decipher them." Ethan understood the colonel's concern but felt a protective instinct over Erix. "We have to prioritize his well-being," he countered. "He's just a kid, lost and far from home." The team agreed to keep Erix's more sensitive abilities classified while they worked on understanding him better and searched for clues about his origins. Each day brought new discoveries but also new dangers, as unknown eyes watched from the shadows, their intentions unclear. As the sun set one evening, Ethan stood by a window in the facility, watching Erix play with holographic projections of galaxies. He couldn't help but feel that the child was more than just an alien. He was a message, a gift, and perhaps a warning. Ethan knew their journey was just beginning, and wherever it led, it would change them all forever. Ethan Mercer's discovery had propelled him into a whirlwind of classified briefings and clandestine meetings. Despite the scientific community's excitement, the true significance of Erix's presence was discussed in hushed tones behind closed doors. In one such meeting, Ethan sat across from Dr. Rebecca Lowe, a specialist in exopolitical relations. "Ethan, you must understand that Erix isn't just a scientific anomaly. His existence challenges the current power structures and not just on Earth," she explained, her eyes serious. "Are you saying there are others out there?" Ethan asked, leaning in. "Yes, and they are aware of us now. Erix's arrival might be interpreted as a breach of an unspoken treaty among star systems. We've observed increased activity in sectors previously thought to be abandoned," Dr. Lowe continued. Ethan frowned, absorbing the gravity of her words. "So, what's our move?" "We need to find out who Erix really is, where he comes from, and why he was sent here. This information is vital, not just for his safety but for ours as well," Dr. Lowe stated. The next few weeks were a blur of activity. Ethan and Dr. Hammond worked tirelessly to decode Erix's telepathic messages, which seemed to be fragments of his past experiences. These snippets painted a picture of a civilization far advanced but possibly in peril. Meanwhile, global intelligence agencies reported sightings of unidentified spacecraft near Earth's orbit. It was clear that Erix's arrival had attracted attention from other galactic entities. One evening, while reviewing data in the lab, Ethan was startled by a sudden alert on the security system. A breach was detected in a lower sector of the facility. Grabbing his security pass, Ethan ran to the area, only to find Erix standing by an open service hatch, a strange device in his hands. "Erix, what is this?" Ethan asked, approaching him cautiously. Erix looked up, his eyes glowing faintly. "They're coming," he said, his voice resonating in Ethan's mind. Before Ethan could respond, the facility was shaken by a low rumble. Security alarms blared, and through the external cameras, Ethan saw several sleek, unidentified craft landing near the perimeter. "It's a raid," Ethan realized, grabbing Erix's hand. "We need to get you to a safe room." As they hurried through the corridors, Ethan contacted Colonel Jenkins. "We have a situation. Unknown hostiles on the ground." "Understood, Dr. Mercer. All units are on high alert. Keep Erix safe. We're mobilizing defense protocols," the colonel responded crisply. Reaching a fortified room deep within the facility, Ethan sealed the door and turned to Erix, who seemed remarkably calm. "Who are they, Erix? Do you know them?" "They are seekers, hunters of knowledge and power. They will not stop until they get what they came for," Erix conveyed telepathically, his expression somber. As Ethan processed this, he realized that their quiet days of research were over. Erix's past was catching up with him, and the consequences would be felt across the entire planet. Outside, the sound of conflict grew as facility security clashed with the intruders. Ethan looked at Erix, knowing they were at the center of an unfolding galactic drama. The secret of Erix's origin was more than a scientific curiosity. It was a beacon that had signaled Earth's entry into a complex cosmic arena. Ethan prepared himself mentally for what would come next. He was no longer just a scientist. He had become a guardian, a diplomat, and perhaps a warrior in an interstellar conflict that Earth was only just beginning to understand. Under the cloak of darkness, the conflict escalated rapidly outside the secure walls of the research facility. Ethan Mercer held Eric's close, watching through the surveillance feeds as Earth's military forces engaged the sleek alien craft. The technology disparity was evident. The invaders maneuvered with terrifying precision, decimating Earth's defenses with what appeared to be advanced energy weapons. Inside the safe room, Ethan's communicator buzzed relentlessly. "Mercer, this is Colonel Jenkins. We've engaged the enemy, but it's tougher than we anticipated. We need to extract you and Eric's immediately." The colonel's voice crackled with urgency. Ethan glanced at Eric's, who seemed to understand the gravity of their situation. "They're after him, aren't they?" Ethan asked the child, who nodded silently. "They fear what he represents. A change," Eric's replied telepathically, his voice echoing in Ethan's mind with a mixture of fear and resolve. Moments later, the sound of heavy boots approached their sanctuary. Ethan tensed, ready to defend Eric's with his life. The door burst open, revealing not aliens, but a squad of Earth's elite forces, led by Major Sarah Thompson. "Dr. Mercer, we're here to get you out. Follow me," Major Thompson ordered swiftly. As they navigated through the chaotic corridors, Ethan witnessed the aftermath of the invaders' assault. The facility was heavily damaged, and casualties were numerous. Ethan's heart sank at the sight, but he focused on the child who might hold the key to ending this invasion. Once outside, the stark reality of war met them. The night sky was alight with the blaze of aerial combat, the alien ships unleashing devastation across the facility grounds. "We have to reach the evacuation point. It's not far, but we'll have to move quickly," Major Thompson briefed as they sprinted across the terrain, dodging debris and incoming fire. Ethan kept pace, his protective grip on Eric's never wavering. They reached a heavily armored vehicle, and the team piled in, speeding away from the embattled facility. As they drove, Ethan saw more of the invaders' ships descending, their intentions clear. "Ethan, these beings, the Zorathians, they won't stop with just an attack. They aim to conquer," Eric shared, his voice a calm contrast to the chaos around them. "Why? What do they want from Earth?" Ethan asked, looking deeply into Eric's eyes. "They seek the ancient artifacts buried here, artifacts my people hid long ago. They hold power to alter civilizations, to control or uplift them," Eric's explained. The vehicle rocked as a nearby explosion sent a shockwave through the air. Major Thompson kept the vehicle steady, her focus unyielding. "We're making for Base Echo. It's secure and has the facilities we need to hold out," she informed them, her voice firm. Upon arrival at Base Echo, Ethan and Eric's were quickly ushered into a command center bustling with activity. Screens lined the walls, displaying global military responses and alien movements. Colonel Jenkins approached, his face grim. "Dr. Mercer, Eric's, you're safe here for now. But we need to understand how to leverage his knowledge against the Zorathians," he said, turning to the screens that showed ongoing battles. Ethan nodded, understanding the weight of his next words. "Eric's can help, but we must protect him at all costs. He's not just a tool for our survival. He's a being with rights and desires. We fight not only to protect Earth, but to honor what he represents for our future." With that resolve, Ethan joined the military strategists, Eric's by his side, ready to share his knowledge. Together, they began planning humanity's defense, leveraging ancient secrets that Eric's was ready to unveil. As the night deepened, the lines of battle were drawn not just over territory, but over the very fate of Earth's place in the cosmos. As the relentless Zorathian assault continued to devastate major cities and military installations across the globe, humanity's resolve was pushed to its limits. The alien technology was superior, but Earth's inhabitants were not ready to yield. In the wake of widespread chaos, an underground resistance began to form, spearheaded by former military leaders and guerrilla warfare experts, with Ethan Mercer and Eric's at the heart of the movement. Ethan and Eric's found refuge in a secret base hidden deep within the mountains, a place that had once been a part of a forgotten military project. The base buzzed with activity. Volunteers from all walks of life were coming together, united by a common cause. "Dr. Mercer, our latest intel suggests the Zorathians are searching for specific ancient sites. We think these locations might have something to do with the artifacts Eric's mentioned," said General Martinez, the leader of the resistance, as they surveyed a map littered with potential targets. Eric stepped forward, his gaze fixed on the map. "These sites are ancient power nodes. My people use them to stabilize peace in the galaxy. If the Zorathians control them, they could dominate not just Earth, but potentially other realms as well. Ethan nodded, understanding the stakes. We need to secure these sites before the Zorathians do. It's not just about defending Earth anymore. It's about preserving the balance of power in the galaxy. Plans were quickly made to deploy teams to the identified locations. Ethan led one of the teams, accompanied by a group of specially trained soldiers. They moved under the cover of darkness, navigating through ruined cities and evading Zorathian patrols. Their destination was an ancient site located in a desolate desert region. According to Eric's, the site contained a device capable of harnessing cosmic energies, potentially enough to power a weapon or shield that could turn the tide of the war. As they approached the site, the ground trembled beneath their feet. A Zorathian excavation team was already there, using advanced machinery to unearth the ancient artifact. "Looks like we're too late," muttered Lieutenant Adams, one of Ethan's team members, as they observed the activity from a safe distance. "Not yet," Ethan replied determinedly. "We can still stop them." Under Ethan's command, the team launched a surprise attack. The battle was fierce, with both sides suffering losses. However, the element of surprise and the Resistance's desperate ferocity gave them the upper edge. The Zorathians, caught off guard, retreated, abandoning their equipment. Ethan and his team secured the site, and with Eric's guidance, they activated the ancient device. A pulse of energy surged through the area, its power palpable in the air. "This device can create a protective barrier around an area. We can use it to shield key locations from the Zorathians," Eric's explained as he adjusted the controls. With renewed hope, Ethan contacted General Martinez to report their success. "We've secured the first site. It's operational. We can start protecting our cities with these barriers." Back at the base, the news of their victory spread quickly, bolstering the morale of the Resistance fighters. Eric's role became even more crucial as he helped identify and activate more sites around the world. As the underground resistance grew in strength and numbers, they not only defended Earth but also started to push back the Zorathian forces, reclaiming territories and protecting the ancient sites. Ethan knew the war was far from over, but for the first time since the invasion began, humanity was not fighting alone or in the dark. They were fighting back with a real chance at victory, armed with the knowledge and power that Eric's had brought them. The battle for Earth was evolving into a struggle for the future of the galaxy, and at the center of it all was a man and an alien child whose fates had become inextricably linked. With the newfound ability to create protective barriers around key locations, the global resistance coordinated by Ethan Mercer and the Strategic Council of Eric's began turning the tide against the Zorathian invaders. Despite their technological superiority, the Zorathians had not anticipated Earth's swift adaptation and the strategic use of ancient alien technology. The Resistance's next move was ambitious and daring: a direct assault on the Zorathian mothership, currently in geostationary orbit above the planet. The plan involved a two-pronged attack. Ground forces would engage the enemy troops, diverting their attention, while a specially trained strike team would infiltrate the mothership to sabotage it from within. "Are you sure about this, Ethan?" Major Thompson asked, her expression tense as they reviewed the final details of the operation in the underground command center. "It's our best shot at ending this," Ethan replied, his gaze steady. "We've got the element of surprise, and with Eric's insights, we know exactly where to hit them where it hurts." Eric's, who had grown more confident and communicative, added, "The ship's core is its vulnerability. Disable it, and you disable the fleet." The operation commenced under the cover of darkness. As the ground forces, led by General Martinez, launched their attack, creating chaos and drawing the Zorathians' focus, Ethan and his strike team, including Major Thompson and a dozen others, boarded one of the captured alien crafts. Using the enemy's technology against them, they slipped through the mothership's defenses. The infiltration was perilous. The interior of the Zorathian ship was a labyrinth of alien architecture, filled with unknown technologies and patrolled by Zorathian soldiers. The team, moving with precision, managed to evade detection, navigating through the corridors towards the ship's core. As they reached the core, they were met with unexpected resistance. A squad of Zorathian elite guards ambushed them, leading to a fierce firefight. Ethan and his team fought valiantly, but the Zorathians were relentless. Just when the situation seemed dire, Eric's, hidden safely back at the base, but linked telepathically to Ethan, intervened. Using his powers, Eric's disrupted the Zorathians' neural communications, sowing confusion among them and giving Ethan and his team the upper hand. They quickly overpowered the guards and placed charges around the core. "Withdraw to the extraction point. I'll handle the detonator," Ethan instructed, his voice resolute over the comm. "No, I'll stay with you," Major Thompson insisted, covering him as he set the timer on the explosives. Seconds felt like hours as they waited for the right moment. Finally, with the charges set, Ethan and Major Thompson sprinted towards the extraction point, where the rest of the team awaited. The charges detonated, engulfing the core in a massive explosion that sent shockwaves throughout the ship. The mothership, crippled, began losing altitude, descending toward Earth's atmosphere where it would eventually burn up. The strike team barely escaped, their craft shaking violently as they detached from the dying ship. Back on Earth, cheers erupted across the globe as news of the mothership's downfall spread. Humanity had dealt a significant blow to the Zorathian fleet, a victory that rekindled hope across the world. In the aftermath, as they regrouped at the base, Ethan and Eric's shared a moment of quiet understanding. They had achieved something incredible. Not just a military victory, but a testament to the potential of unity and resilience. "The battle is far from over, but today we've shown that we can stand up to them," Ethan said to the gathered fighters, who responded with renewed vigor, ready for the next phase of the war. Humanity was no longer on the defensive. They were now contenders, fighting not just for survival, but for their place in the cosmos. And at the heart of their struggle was the bond between a man and an alien child, whose fate had become Earth's beacon of hope. In the aftermath of their victorious assault on the Zorathian mothership, humanity's spirit was invigorated. The Resistance had proven that even with lesser technology, Earth's determination could disrupt a seemingly invincible foe. As the world reeled from the victory, strategic meetings intensified across the globe, now buzzing with a new purpose: to unify Earth's forces against the Zorathian remnants and their inevitable counterattacks. General Martinez, alongside Ethan and Eric's, spearheaded the initiative to fortify Earth's defenses using the activated ancient sites. "We need to consolidate our positions and prepare for the next wave. They'll be angry and looking for revenge," Martinez briefed the newly formed global coalition. Meanwhile, Eric's continued to unlock more secrets of his heritage. Each revelation provided Earth with not just weapons or shields, but also with technology that could revolutionize life even after the conflict ended. "These artifacts do more than defend. They can heal, preserve, and energize," Eric's explained as he helped engineers adapt alien tech for humanitarian uses. As the global alliance strengthened, Ethan took on a role that he never imagined, acting as a diplomat between humans and the other alien factions that the Zorathians had once oppressed. With Eric's help, he communicated Earth's stance and its fight for freedom, gaining respect and allies among the stars. "We are not just fighting for Earth, but for all who have been silenced by the Zorathians," Ethan declared during a summit held on a neutral space station. His words, translated into various galactic languages, resonated across countless worlds. The Resistance's efforts on Earth became a symbol of hope for others, sparking uprisings and rebellions on planets under Zorathian control. As these worlds reached out, Earth's fight morphed into a galactic resistance, with strategies and tactics shared on a previously unimaginable scale. Back on Earth, Major Thompson led the defense of key cities now shielded by the ancient technology. During a particularly fierce Zorathian attempt to reclaim a downed cruiser, she coordinated with alien defectors, turning what would have been a desperate stand into a decisive victory. "These shields hold more than our cities. They guard our future," Thompson said, standing over the recovered cruiser, now being reverse-engineered by human and alien engineers working side by side. As Earth's influence grew, so did Eric's understanding of his place among humans. He had become a bridge, a link not just between Earth and his lost civilization, but among myriad alien races who saw the young being's journey as a catalyst for broader change. One evening, as Ethan and Eric's watched Earth's forces training with their new alien allies, Eric's shared a vision. "I see a council forming, a place where beings from all over the galaxy can speak freely. Earth could host it," he suggested, his eyes alight with the potential of a united future. Ethan nodded, moved by the vision. "From a planet under siege to a beacon of galactic unity," he mused, the idea taking root. The days of isolation were over. Earth's message of defiance and hope echoed across the cosmos, drawing in more support and strengthening the resolve of those under tyranny. Each victory added another voice to the chorus calling for change, and with each act of bravery, the foundation of a new galactic order was laid. one that would remember Earth not as a battlefield, but as a cradle of freedom. As the Coalition prepared for what many believed would be the final confrontation with the Zorathian core worlds, Ethan realized that their journey had changed them forever. Humanity had stepped onto the galactic stage not as conquerors or victims, but as liberators, a legacy that would define their path long after the last starship battle ended. The final assault on the Zorathian core worlds marked the culmination of Earth's unexpected ascendance as a galactic power. Under the unified banner of the newly formed Galactic Coalition, led by Earth and its array of alien allies, the combined forces positioned themselves for a decisive confrontation. Ethan Mercer, alongside Eric's and a diverse assembly of commanders from various planets, strategized aboard the command ship, their eyes fixed on the holographic displays showing the Zorathian defenses. The Zorathians are weakened, but not defeated. Their core planets are heavily fortified, General Martinez outlined, pointing to the swirling holograms of distant worlds. This won't be easy, but it's necessary. We end it here. Eric's, now a figure of immense influence and respect, added his insight. The Zorathians fear what they cannot control. Today we show them a galaxy united, not under the banner of fear, but of mutual respect and freedom. As the battle commenced, the space around the Zorathian planets erupted into a spectacle of light and energy. The Galactic Coalition's forces, a tapestry of various technologies and strategies, pushed forward. Earth's ships, retrofitted with alien technology and powered by the ancient artifacts, pierced through the enemy lines, their shields holding firm against the onslaught. Ethan, aboard the lead ship, coordinated the attacks, his voice calm but firm over the comm. All units, maintain formation, push through to the core, we break their will to fight. The battle raged for hours. Ethan watched, heart pounding, as countless acts of bravery unfolded across the battlefield. Major Thompson led a daring squadron that disabled a Zorathian dreadnought, while Eric's, using his unique abilities, disrupted the enemy's communications, sowing chaos among their ranks. Finally, as the Coalition's forces breached the last line of defense, a ceasefire was unexpectedly broadcasted across all channels. The Zorathian High Command, facing overwhelming odds and internal dissent, capitulated. The war was over. In the aftermath of the battle, as peace negotiations began, the galaxy looked to Earth with newfound reverence. The planet that had stood on the brink of subjugation now led the discussions on the formation of a new galactic governance. Ethan stood beside Eric's and other leaders as they addressed the galaxy from the Galactic Council's inaugural assembly on Earth. Today marks the beginning of a new era. An era where no world imposes its will on another, where every voice is heard, and where the strength of our unity will be our guide, Ethan declared, his words transmitted across countless worlds. As the assembly concluded, Eric's approached Ethan, his expression thoughtful. What will you do now, Ethan? He asked, looking up at the man who had become his guardian and mentor. Ethan smiled, placing a hand on Eric's shoulder. I think I'll return to my roots. There's a galaxy to explore, and I can think of no better guide than you. Together, let's find out what other secrets the stars hold. The pair walked out onto the terrace overlooking Earth's vibrant capital, now a bustling hub of interstellar diplomacy and culture. The sun set on the horizon, casting a warm glow over the city, a symbol of the dawn of a new age. As Earth and its allies forged ahead, building a united galaxy, Ethan reflected on the journey that had brought them here. From the dark days of invasion to the bright promise of tomorrow, humanity had not only survived, it had thrived, forever altering the cosmic tapestry. And at the heart of it all was the bond between a man and an alien child. A bond that had changed the course of history, proving that even in the vastness of space, unity and compassion could light the way to a brighter future.